Jody Creatives, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be making this double Senegalese Zaracap you're seeing right here on your screen. If this is something you know you would love to learn, you have to watch this video to the end. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do well to hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, and let's get right into the class. Welcome back. So these are the materials we need to make that cap you just saw on your screen. And the first material we have is our fabric, and this is a raw silk fabric. 1 yard is more than enough. And the next material we have here is the boning. This is an 1/2 inches boning. Later we'll get to the measurement. Then you need your 3 inches crinoline. You need up to like 3 yards. Then the trimmings is optional. Then your bowl at the back, you can use any style to make your rose or bow at the back. It does not have to be the one I make. So let's get right into the measurement. So the measurements we have here, you're going to go ahead and spread your fabric, and you go ahead and measure for the width of the fabric. That's the stretchy part of the fabric. The stretchy part of the fabric, you're going to measure 28 inches. Here I have 28 inches, and the length of it, the length of the fabric, you are going to measure 30 inches. So the wideness is 28 inches. That's the stretchy part is 28 inches, while the length is 30 inches. And this pieces is for the rose at the back. I said it earlier, it's optional. You can use anything to design the back. So the width we have here is 6 inches, and the length is 60 inches. My tape is 60 inches, and also the length of the fabric is 60 inches. So 60 inches for the length and 6 inches for the width. So the next, we are going to rule our lines. So the first line you are going to rule is going to be a 5 inches line. So you mark 5 inches from the beginning, mark 5 inches at the middle, mark 5 inches at the end, then go ahead and rule your straight line, just the way you are seeing on the screen. And from that line you just rule, you go ahead and mark another 5 inches again. You mark another 5 inches again, you go ahead and rule again, making 2 lines now. The first line is 5 inches, the second line is 5 inches. Then we'll go ahead again and rule the third line, which is 1 inches. So you go ahead and mark 1 inches. From your previous line, you mark 1 inches, and you go ahead and rule it. Now we have 3 lines. The first one is 5 inches, second one 5 inches, third one 1 inches. Then we'll go ahead and mark the last line, which is also 5 inches. You mark your 5 inches again, which is the fourth line. You go ahead and rule your markings. So we have 4 lines now. The first one 5 inches, second one 5 inches, third one 1 inches, and the last one also 5 inches. So just go ahead and follow this instruction, and you get a perfect cap. So the next thing we are going to do now is go ahead and fold the first line to the second line. That's the first 5 inches line to the second 5 inches line. You will go ahead and pin just exactly the way you are seeing on the screen. You match the 2 lines together. You make sure the front and the back lines are matching properly. You pin the beginning, you pin the end, you also go ahead and pin the middle. As you can see, you go ahead and pin it just the way you're seeing on the screen. So when you're done pinning, you go ahead and stitch all the way down on that line. So you pick the next line again, the second line to the last line. You pick the second line to the last line just the way you're seeing on the screen. Go ahead and pin it. So you pin just the way you pin the first one, and you go ahead and stitch all the way down. You're going to have 2 loops. You're going to have 2 loops. So as you can see, we are done stitching. So this is what we have. Can you see? We have 2 loops, and that 1 inches is what is at the middle. We pick the 5 inches, we pick the 5 inches, and that 1 inches is what is at the middle. This is our marco. We are going to use marco 20 inches for the length and 2.7 inches for the width. that's 2 3/4, sorry, 2 3/4, 2.75. Go ahead and get the midpoint. You also fold your fabric into two. You also get the midpoint. So when you're done getting the midpoint, you place midpoint of the fabric to the midpoint of the fabric, just the way you're seeing on the screen. Then fold it, flip it over the pleats. Those two pleats you make, flip it over the two pleats, just the way you're seeing. You do it gently, no rushing. Flip it over to the other side. Then you go ahead and pin down. You don't want your work too rough, so always use your pin. It's advisable for you to use your pin. So go ahead and pin down, pin to the left, pin to the right, and go ahead and stitch all the way down on that pin. You're not stitching on your marco, you're stitching on the fabric. Don't stitch on the marco, stitch on the fabric. So you just go ahead and pin down, and you take it to your sewing machine and you stitch all the way down. Yeah, so when you're done with that, you also pick your fabric for the rows at the back. Put your crinoline in the middle, just the way you are seeing, and then you stitch it all the way down to secure the crinoline inside the fabric. We want to cage the crinoline inside the fabric. I don't know if I'm making sense. Okay, so just what you're seeing right there on the screen, you go ahead and repeat the same thing, and you stitch it all the way down. Right, so as you can see, we are done stitching the marco to the fabric, and this is what we have. So the next thing, and also the crinoline part, you can see we just went ahead and just stitch it all the way down, nothing serious. So the next thing we are going to do now is to fold the fabric into two. Then you pin it down. You pin down. Now take note, while pinning, these your two loops, you cannot stitch on it. Do not stitch on it. So just fold it inside, push it inside very well, push it inside very well, and you pin, and you go ahead and pin. Then make that curve that is always at the back of the turban. Make your curve, and if you want to leave it straight, it's fine, but this curve gives it a good shape. So then the next thing is to go ahead and measure your head circumference. Whatever your head circumference is, go ahead and measure it, then you mark it. When you're done marking, then you stitch from that your mark. Just stitch it down a little, maybe like 1 inches. Yeah, maybe 1 inches or 1.5 inches. Then you skip that part where those loops are. Then you start sewing your 1/2 inches all the way down, just the way you're seeing on the screen. Do it the same way. Make sure you skip that part, because you're still going to insert your boning into this part. So if you stitch it down, there's no way you're going to insert your boning. So you can see we are done stitching, and this is what we have. So before you turn to the right side, go ahead and run a gather stitch at the back. But before you run your gather stitch, please go ahead and weave the back of your turban cap. Weave it so that you have a neat finishing. Go ahead and weave. Don't be like me. This is just for tutorial. If I'm making it for a client, I'm going to go ahead and weave it. So go ahead and weave it and have a neat finishing. Then you run your gather stitch at the back. So as you can see, I am done running my gather stitch. Secure your thread properly, secure it very well. Yeah, so when you're done, cut out your excess thread, and then now you can turn it to the right side. Right, you can turn it to the right side now. So when you turn it, this is what you have. You can see my openings are still there. They are still there. So the length of the what's it called, the boning we have here is, I have 40 inches here, but later I cut out the excess out of it, and this is a 1/2 inches boning, like I said in the beginning of the video. 1/2 inches boning, and the length is 40 inches that I have here, but it's like I use 36 or 37 36 inches. I use 36 inches at the end of the day. So you can go ahead and just cut your 36 inches instead of wasting some inches. So you insert it inside, you go ahead and tack. So you tack one side very well, tack it so that your crinoline, while pushing it inside, it will not be coming out from the other side. So you take your needle and thread, you tack it very well. You tack it very well. So you tack and make sure it's closed properly. So when you're done, you go ahead and push your bony inside. Push it very well. See this part? You need a lot of strength though. So you push it until it's firm, it's strong a little. You push it, you use your hand and arrange. While pushing, you arrange, then you keep going, keep pushing. So this is where I said I reduced it because it was not going in. The whole 40 inches was not going in, so I had to cut out 4 inches out. I had to cut 4 inches out. So, and no, I cut out 3 inches. So I cut out 3 inches. I later cut out 3 inches. So I pushed in the rest. So you can just go ahead and use 36 or 37. It's okay. So that means 2 yards should be okay. 2 yards of boning should be okay for this design. 1 yard for the first one, 1 yard for the second one. So when you're done, you repeat the same thing for the second one. Whatever you do for the first one, you repeat the same thing for the second one. It's the same process. Just push and push and push and push till you exhaust your 37 inches or 36 inches boning. So when you are done, you are going to tack the mouth. That's the mouth of the boning. You will tack it properly. That is what I'm doing here now. You tack it, you make sure you tack it in a way that it will not poke out. You tack it in a way that it will not poke out. So as you can see, while I'm tacking it, it's still coming out. So you do make a lot of efforts to make sure you tack it down. So you just push it in and tack, push in and tack, push in and tack, right? It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. It's just looking difficult, but it's not that difficult. Just push it in and tack. And if you have watched this video to this point and you have not subscribed, please, this is the only way you can push my video, and this is the only way you can pay me back for all this. So guys, please hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, drop your comments. Okay, so let's continue. So when you're done, you have something just like this. Okay, so you go ahead and arrange it the way you want. You can push one side up and the other side down. You can leave it just the way you're seeing it, on just the way it is, like this, or you can just arrange it to make it spiral. That's push one part up and the other part down at the back, right? Yeah. So when you're done, you put the in, that's the other mouth, that is the 2 mouths. Remember, we have, it's going to be 4 mouths now. So you're going to pick all the 4 mouths, push it inside and tack it. That's just it. We are done with the boning part. So just go ahead and tack and tack so you can have your knit finishing, right? Just go ahead and tack it, everything, tack all the rough edges, tack everything inside, and that's it for the boning part. So that is what we are doing. We're just tacking, we're making sure we tack down every part, and then you knot very well, you secure your thread very well so that it will not come off. So you go ahead and cut out any excess, and you move on to the what's it called. So you can see, you can just do it a spiral, take it up, one part up, the other part down, just to get that spiral effect on it if you want. So just do what you want. So this is the rows at the back, and this is just how I created the rows at the back. Very simple. You don't have to use rows, you can use bowl, you can use any design at the back, any design. It does not have to be this. Just create something, be creative around it. You might not even want to put crinoline, you can just use ordinary fabric to create it. Understand? So just do you, right? Do you is allowed. Just create something good. So this is just what I'm using at the back of mine, and when I was done gathering it, I just want to gather stitch all the way down. When I was done, go ahead and arrange it into a rows. You arrange and arrange and arrange. When you're done arranging, you go ahead and tack what you arrange, you tack it down just the way you're seeing on the screen. Just tack down. So it's not that serious, it's just a simple rows and very easy to make. So you go ahead and tack, right? So when you're done, you tack it to the back of the cap, and voila, we are done. As you can see, you just go ahead and tack. You can gum it if you like, but I love tacking, so I prefer to tack my bowl or rows at the back. I prefer to tack it down. So just go ahead and tack if it's tacking you want. So this is what we have. Now for the front part, for the trimmings at the front, is optional. It's optional. If you want to use your trimmings, just go ahead and put your trimmings on this thing round, on the boning round. But if you don't want to, it's not compulsory. But if you want to, this is just the way to place your trimmings. Just go ahead and place it all the way around. Place the first one, place the second one. It's as simple as that. And if you love this design, you want to make it into one, we have a video of how to make just one spiral on it. Just check down the channel, you will see the video on how to make one. This is a double spiral Senegalese Zaracap. So if you want the single one, the video is right there on this channel. Just go ahead, check it out, and make yours. So guys, this is just the process of making this cap. Is very easy. So it's very easy to make. So whatever you do for the first line, you go ahead and repeat the same thing for the second one. So this part is optional. Like I said, is optional. You don't have to do that. It's totally up to you, right? So whatever you do for the first one, you go ahead and repeat it for the second one. When you get to the end, you burn the end of the trimmings so that it will not come out. That is if you are using trimmings. And if you are leaving it plain also, it's very nice and it's also very beautiful, right? So guys, this is what we have. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.